Hello everyone, this is Kyle from Mill Street Gardens. Today we received in our Musser Forest order, which is mostly trees, but also some evergreen shrubs and some rhododendrons. And I'm going to take you along as we pot them up. If you watch this for our unboxing video, you see that this is what we just received in. I still got to go through everything and inventory it to make sure we got everything, but the most important thing I gotta do is I need to get these bare roots soaking. So I am disappointed that we got bare roots because I was not expecting them. I purposely ordered pots for I wouldn't have to deal with bare roots because I've had mixed success with those, and I don't like to play with, if I know it's might fail, then I don't want to mess with it. One benefit of the bare root is, don't mind my mess, is at least these plants are quite large compared to the potted ones. So, see if I can get this fitted into this bucket of water. Alright, so step one is done, which is organizing them, just so I can get inventory of them. So we got 25 rhododendrons, we got 10 eastern redbuds, and look, these guys are pretty big. Not all of them though. We got 5 pin oaks, 5 red oaks, we got 10 red maples, we got 10 sugar maples, we got 10 Paw Paws, and over here they gave us an extra Kusa dogwood, or not Kusa, just a white flowering dogwood. So we got everything, plus the other plants that we have soaking, which I don't have in this room with me right now. Oh yeah, I forgot, we also have 25 of each type of juniper. The Greenmound and the blue chip. Also mentioned that we went with this size tree because we wanted the price point to be lower. So, smaller tree, smaller price point, makes it more accessible for people. And all of these trees, I believe, looking around, maybe most of them are native trees, and there is a lot of people interested in native trees, especially like maple trees, which we didn't think people would be interested in at first, but there's an interest in those, so we got a couple different type of maples. Alright, so the first plant we're going to start with is this Kusa dogwood, and I'm gonna show you why I like having the containers, because they're nice and rooted in. The roots still look nice and moist. The plant is nice and supple, so it's gonna break dormancy no problem. Whereas the bare root plants make me a little bit nervous because it seems like they always break out dormancy a little bit later than plants that weren't bare root. Oh, so I'm using this size pot for this plant. It's substantially larger, but not like the hugest pot in the world. And we're just going to pot it at the same level that it was in this other pot. So I'm going to add some soil on the bottom. And our soil is, our potting mix rather, is a mix of some bark and compost. Stick them in there, and then fill in. Some other things that are important is to make sure that the plant is centered in the container, because you don't want it to be like looking weird. And then when you're potting stuff up, you're going to want to compact the soil in around it, so that the soil doesn't sink. Something else you can do when you're done is you can tap it like that to get the soil to settle around the root ball. So here's what he looks like. And this is the same size container that we use to pot the apple trees. So got 10 more of these guys to go, and then a bunch more other trees. Okay, so it's been a couple hours and the pile's definitely shrinking. I'm averaging about a plant every 2.5 minutes, um, including moving time and mixing soil and all that type of stuff. So that's the rate I'm working at. So I think we've moved around 60 plants. And now it's time to work on these guys. Alright, so now I'm excited about these guys because they're going to look so cute after I bump them up. Sorry, oops, this pot is breaking. So this is that Greenmound Juniper, which is the ground covered juniper. It's already, looks like it's already starting to send out its new growth for this year. So right now it's in a pint-sized container, or like a 3.5-inch square. And we're going to bump it up into a 6-inch container. And when it's done, it's going to look really cute. Put it on the bottom. And none of this stuff I'm fertilizing yet. Not going to start fertilizing stuff until it's a little bit warmer out. I don't want it to push any more new growth. So it's really cold this weekend, and this whole week we've had a really mild, like late winter. And we just got blasted some really cold. So I just need to get these plants protected for a couple days until I can put them in our hoop houses, and then they should be good. But right now it's way too cold outside. Alright, so these guys go a little bit quicker than 2 minutes because the pots aren't as big as the tree pots. But look how cute that looks. So this is a Greenmound one. I have to make some tags for some of these guys. And I got a tag for this one, the blue chip. Oh my goodness, this one is really rooted. See if I can get this. No, I might just break this pot because I want to sacrifice these roots. I had to do that on some of the oak trees. The oak trees were like, the root systems were like, whoa. I ended up taking off most of those roots. Whoops. And I wasted a pot, but oh well. Life goes on. Oh, this one looks really cute too. Looks super cute. These might be fun to use in like, you know, like a bonsai setting, or as like in like a planter, if you're doing something formal, or like a fairy garden. And then once they grow too big for the application, you can put them out into the landscape. So here's that guy. He looks really cute too. Just needs to be cleaned up. Okay, so next we got our rhododendrons, which are a lot bigger than I thought they would be. And like I said before, this is a PJM rhododendron, which is pretty reliable in our area. So I was excited when I saw that this company offered it. They have a shallow root system, so I'm not going to put them in a really deep pot. I'm going to probably sell them at the same price point as these other evergreens. So I'm just going to put them all in like the same size pot. They won't be super expensive, so hopefully we sell them fast. And if we don't, then we just bump them up to a bigger size pot as they grow. These ones seem to have like a lot of growth towards the top. They're a little bit naked at the bottom, but I suspect once it gets out into the sun and we get some fertilizer on them, they'll start shooting out some leaves lower on the plant. This one looks really cute too. It's all potted up. It's hard to see from far away. This is what it looks like outside as we're potting. Alright, so now it's the next day, and here's our bare roots that we've been soaking for a long time. I've been soaking the bare roots for about 18 hours, and it's just something that in the past I haven't had a lot of success with, and we've had some losses. The first time I did bare roots, I didn't soak them at all, which wasn't a good idea because I figured I was putting them into moist soil. And so they would just be moist and wake up properly. And then the next time I did bare roots, I soaked them for a couple hours and I had some more success. But I'm not going to play around this time. I soaked them for a really long time, and hopefully that means that they will have a higher success rate. So I guess stay tuned and we will see what happens in the next couple of months. I just got here for the day, so it's still very cold right now. But I'm glad that we have heat in this area now. I can just turn it on and within a half hour it'll be nice and comfy. In years past I had to do this kind of in the cold, which wasn't fun. So here's our bare root. This is actually one of the smaller ones, so I guess that's a positive of the bare root. You know, I'm still super nervous about this. But the branches, most of them are flexible. Some of these little tiny ones, I think they died, but we'll just trim them off. The roots look okay, and they're huge compared to the other roots. So just tuck them into the pot. You can trim the roots if you want a little bit, but I'm just going to finesse it around in this pot. And then you want to make sure that you get the soil in all around the roots. So it's a little bit trickier than potting up the pots, because the pots, you just make a hole and you stick the pot in there. This one, you got to make sure that you actually get soil all around the roots. I'm also using a much larger size pot for this, so it's going through a lot more of our potting mix. Alright, so this is our first American plum, which is one tree that I'm very excited about. Here's our black gum tree. These trees, even though they're pretty small, they have like really big root systems. So I ended up putting them in some bigger pots. So it looks like we have trees and pots that are too big for them, but they just have big rooties. And I even did trim the roots back on this a tiny bit. Well, I was scared to chop it back too much because most of the root was like a tap root, and I didn't want to really mess with that too much. Even this pot is kind of borderline. Alright, our black gum tree. Alright, so this is our last tree. It's the English oak. Obviously, I'm guessing by the name, it's not native, so but still has some leaves on it, cute little oak leaves, due to its marcescence. It doesn't want to come off. That's cute. And then, you know, have a nice big root system. I actually trimmed it a tiny bit so it could fit in this big pot. So some big roots on these bare roots. Yeah, looks good. Alright everyone, thank you for watching our video today. I have finished potting up all of the plants, and I'm going to keep them indoors just for a few more days, just until this really cold weather is done and over with. I have watered them all in, and I'll give you a little peek of what they look like right now.